Hello? Hi. Oh, wow, how are you? Oh, great. Listen, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm going to work all day. I looked at my calendar, and it's an incredible aspect for working. Mars and Venus are in conjunction with the moon. Yeah, y'all do. Come on by, and, we can throw something in the oven, bake something, and just, be together a while. Oh, I'd love, the house is warm. It would be so good, and we could just visit and spend some time together. Okay? So try to do that, and thank you very much. Okay, great. Bye-bye. Oh, it looks like another 10-degree day.
Yeah, maybe colder. Dress warm. Want a cup of coffee here?
Oh, yeah, I'll be right there.
Okay.
The way all the goddesses wake up. Hungry? Ready for breakfast? ready?
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
Will they take a few minutes to cook?
Just a few minutes. They mainly have to heat up.
Ah, good. I'm hungry.
They're from that bakery we visited last week.
Yeah.
Oops. They'll be ready in a minute, Jai.
That's hungry too.
Really? Get us a couple forks. Oh, we'll get a couple more.
There's an extra spoon for the jelly. There.
More coffee.
Oh, I got some yet, thanks. I'll bring in some milk. Any milk for coffee?
I think those rolls are ready.
You want to get them or shall I?
I'll give you the one.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Want one on your plate?
Have some butter?
Okay, thank you. Sure smell good.
Oh, thank you.
Got some jam here. Let's see.
Spoon or two. This is a painting I did of the island that I grew up on. Have you seen that one yet?
Yeah, that's the tip of the Isle of Palms down there.
I still have to do some work because there's a lot of shades of green that I haven't really captured the whole thing. All of these are paintings that I'm still working on. A small painting of birches in the snow. Woodstocker in progress. Woodstocker evolving. And this is a more romantic painting, still working on.
Yes, that's a very erotic one.
I said romantic.
Oh.
And this is one I did during the holidays.
Poinsettia. Yeah, that's got the colors. Looks like a heart.
You can leave them up on the screen a little longer so we can take a look at them in a little bit more detail.
That's where we lived, in the village, near the place where we lived, the same house, on Tinker Street.
Uh-huh.
It was upstairs. It was a very Victorian house. A lot of chimneys and a lot of angles. Very graceful house.
What medium are all these on? What?
Different ones. This is watercolor. Some are acrylic and some are watercolor.
Uh-huh. And they're on paper?
Different types of paper. The acrylics is on a special primed canvas backed paper. And then the watercolor is on vellum Bristol board.
These are jack-o'-lanterns by the lake. We saw them on Halloween Eve, or the eve before Halloween. And this man had put jack-o'-lanterns in the trees and on the shore of the lake. And it created an image, a reflection. The lake was so still. It was very beautiful, very strange, eerie. That's on the side of Cooper Lake.
Study of Cooper Lake. Looking back over the mountains, actually, in the direction where we live sort of in here, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Right on the top of those trees, right behind them.
This is an abstract, just a basic color field.
Do you have a lot of training to do this? Did you study?
Yes.
What did you study and where did you study?
Well, I had private lessons in Charleston where I grew up from Faith Murray
Can you tell me about it?
and Willard Hirsch. Yes.
Are those people artists?
Sculptors and painters.
Uh-huh.
And then I studied at the University of South Carolina under Professor Edmund Yajin. And then I studied anatomy at the Art Students League here in New York with Hale, and then I studied sculpture, stone carving with Jose de Kreft. And this is sort of a self-portrait.
With butterfly. In October, I brought home a butterfly that had been batted down by a passing truck. And we kept it in our home for about 2.5 weeks, and it lived on the grapefruit tree, and in our, we fed it syrup on our pancakes.
You fed it syrup?
Right, and it would come and it would fly, and it could fly a little bit, and it would land and it would get nectar from the honey or syrup that we'd have in the breakfast in the morning. And we kept it alive, and it had some escapades, and it landed in a spider's nest, and it got bitten and died. And that was a sort of a sad ending to it.
Now, and that was the butterfly that you depicted on that portrait of yourself before, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on the wall.
This is a painting of the Roaring Kill, which is the river that created Mink Hollow, where we live.
Is that someone you know?
Well, actually, it's myself, you know, because there's a great big stone that's like a great island that sort of separates the
A stone like a
stream.
chair. Sits like a chair. A seat.
And here's a painting of black swans.
Is that an acrylic?
That's watercolor.
It shines for the camera.
I use it with great intensity.
Can you hold it for a minute there? Let's go in and take a little look at it a little closer. Do you sell these paintings?
Yes.
And you do other artwork as well. You've done stone sculpture, I know that.
Yes. Now I'm working essentially in paintings and modeling clay.
Oh, that's a beautiful abstract. That's like ferns or lilacs.
Yeah, I call this lilacs in the rain.
Jeez, that's intense. I like that.
You know that fragrance when it rains up here and the lilacs just sort of diffuse through the atmosphere? Wanted to capture that feeling.
Do you have lilacs here on your property?
Yeah.
We sure do. We have them in a couple different places.
They're wonderful.
We have white and lavender lilacs. Now this is something you'd recognize if you'd ever been to Haiti, where they stick a bullock in the neck and they drink the blood from the veins in his neck. Arterial blood. It's very, very part of their rites or rituals, I guess.
Have you been to Haiti?
I haven't been to Haiti, but we've seen video of the voodoo priest sticking the bullocks. They had a show on National Geographic, I think, that.
Well, was that the inspiration, Sarah, for this painting?
Yes. It was incredibly profound. It was actually a voodoo ritual, as Henry says, and where the priest gave, you know, the women, just the women in the camp, this blood from this living bull to drink. It was very awesome, and of course this tradition was brought from Africa, but when you think of it, it's a life-sustaining ritual.
Maybe you could turn around.
Yeah, why don't you talk to me about it? Because I think with people who are seeing it.
Consider this, that there are certain types of anemia which only whole blood can correct. And perhaps this was a way of like, you know, increasing the health and vitality of the female, hence increasing the health and vitality of the entire culture.
It's not something that you've ever done, though.
Well, I suffer from anemia. Western European anemia is pretty much the same. It's like blood deficiencies, you know, as sickle cell anemia. The blood doesn't do the right thing metabolically.
No, but you haven't participated in this type of ritual.
Just a minute.
Oh,
I have to tell you that, okay, we have, like, in European myth, we have our vampires and the legends of Dracula and the vampires that you know, literally drank blood in our culture. So we have our counterpart. This is not so awesome as it may appear to be. I myself have pernicious anemia, where I have to take concentrated blood in a capsule every day. And it's very sophisticated and civilized, but had I not that benefit of scientific research, my life might be sustained as well, you know, by a goblet of whole blood, because it would contain the necessary cells to make my blood. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
These are all important rituals.
And it was an extract from the cow.
But it was very beautiful visually. The light clothes that they were wearing and the very dark night. And then it was just an incredible visual experience. It was on television. But again, television can be used as a tool of great inspiration. And that sort of fascinated me. Also in Carolina, we have voodoo. We are very influenced by the islands, the Caribbean islands all around us.
Who's we? When you say we, we're...
The people in Carolina.
Just everybody down the
people that grow up on the islands are very much into voodoo. The people around Charleston.
Mm-hmm. But are you talking primarily about black people or white people or
They're white people that accept and understand that voodoo is real. Like in my family, there was like someone that worked right in hand with the voodoo priest.
Doing what?
Putting spells on people. What do you think?
Usual voodoo.
Burying the root on somebody and hexing them.
Making them sick And they
This
don't
is-
know why they get sick.
Are strange, you know, it's like control, it's basically what it is. But the islands around Charleston is very rich. It's like the Caribbean, you know, it's like influenced by this great culture.
Uh-huh.
It's Afro-English culture. I have a very great deal of respect for voodoo and for all spiritual concepts, whether I understand them or not. I feel that they're highly valid. And
Do you have any other voodoo paintings? Or spiritual related paintings?
let's just see what we've got. There's an incredible diversity. This one is much calmer, much milder. It's me sleeping with my animals all around me.
Yeah, it's very serene.
Now this is acrylic. And this is a painting that I had done called The Little Match Girl. And I hope to perhaps contribute this to the UNICEF program for all the children, to somehow remind people, you know, at Christmas time, of all the other children that aren't perhaps being cared for, as well as, you know, your own. And, you know, I don't know how well it worked. I'm still working on that painting.
How long does it take you to do a painting?
Oh, years. You know, it depends, really. Now, this is a very interesting painting here. It started out very, again, at the lake that we live around, which so influences our life. And I was working on it one day, and I had the radio on, the local station. And like, all of a sudden, this red appeared in the sky of the painting. And I didn't know where it had come from. I could not remember having put red anywhere in the painting. It just suddenly, like it came through the blue. And then all of a sudden they announced on the radio that a young woman's life had been taken in this lake. She'd been murdered, thrown into the lake and murdered. So I didn't do anything else on it. I left the painting as it is, sort of in a tribute to her memory, because it seemed as if the very mountains were enraged, and it seemed as if there was a greater spirit within this painting than I had actually was aware of. And this is a scene of like where I grew up in Carolina. Very ancient trees, waterways, marshes, incredibly gorgeous seabirds. Very different than New York. Now here's a New York painting where you have like the apple tree and the meadow and the distant river in the background.
New York State, then, you're
Yes,
talking
New
about?
York State. And actually this is like a view coming down the Wittenberg Road right at Bearsville there.
Wow.
Where they've got the little sheep on the mountain.
Reminded me of a place where I went to work up on top of a mountain that looks down towards Glenford.
It's almost a totally stylized, traditional New York
Right.
painting.
There's many sheep farmers in the area.
And this is an oil painting. Now with oil, I like to be very simple. I can't stand the way that it smells, so I try to, you know, paint and run almost with my oil paintings. That's the real beauty of acrylics, is that you don't have terrible varnishes to breathe, and therefore you can develop a longer, more comfortable relationship with your work. Again, this is an oil study in color
That's very nice. That's very pastel.
that I have
Like spring.
been working on.
Spring painting.
And that brings us to this one, which is one I thought that I would do today.
And what are you going to work with to make this one?
Because watercolor is it's slightly faster than acrylic. I thought I would do something in that medium.
And you have in mind something to do?
I thought I'd do a self-portrait.
Mm-hmm. Do you need a mirror for that, or do you do it out of your...
No, I know what I look like by now. Okay. Is that going to be at a good angle for you to
Yeah, I think I'll be able to see quite nicely from here.
see what I'm doing on the paper?
Mm-hmm. I may come in closer when you get going.
Me, the cats are watching you too. Oh, you got your new curly hairdo in there, I see. That's nice. Creates a soft impression.
Do you start knowing exactly what it's going to look like when you're done?
It depends. Some of my artwork, I know exactly what I'm going to do. Others, I'll begin with a pen or a pencil. Others, like some, I'll just begin with a brush. Sometimes I like the spontaneity. Sometimes I require the control. It just depends upon what I'm trying for.
Now, in something you do this quickly, which is obviously different from the longer works, does this just fit right in? Does this go in your portfolio, or is this an experiment, or what are we doing now?
Oh, it really depends upon how it turns out. Everything is, there have been paintings in there that I've, done that I've started out very quickly, that I spent really a long time working on later, and, brought to a different completion. I'm just sort of flexible at the moment as to how this painting will go, what direction it will, right now I'm just sort of like having fun and moving color around.
How often do you paint?
It's not exactly something that you punch in at a time clock. It depends upon how many commissions I get.
And do you get a lot of commissions?
Lately I've been getting more. I enjoy painting a great deal. I've been doing more painting in the more recent time. Doing more painting and enjoying it more. Perfect combination for an artist to thrive on. But this is just a very quick study that I'll do now, and later sometime I'll probably go back and really work it up into a finished product. If it shows any potential at all. It's more of a million.
Just about finished, huh?
I think I'm going to study it for a while, and then it has to dry,
Yeah.
and then I'll come back and do some more later. But essentially, that's the way it's done.
Can you hold it up, or will it run if you do that?
Let's check it out.
Is that record time for a painting?
This is just the preliminaries for the actual painting. The actual painting will be done, over many hours. This is like the sketch for the rest of the painting.
I see.
The essential color layout and the details I'll have to go back over, like the face I have to go back over and remodel and remold the features.
Well, you do other things besides painting.
Yes.
You do, so you've done sculpture, I know.
I used to carve stone. I had surgery to my arm, and I won't be able to carve stone, but I do model in clay as well.
And you paint on those models?
Some of them are glazed.
Glazed, I see. So that's Sara Needham, the painter, huh?
Yes, and thank you for coming by so much.
And then what are we going to... Do you have other skills besides just your artwork? Is that not right?
I thought I would show you some of my sewing. I design my own clothes, and I thought I would do that next.
Great. Let's do that then.
Excuse me.
What are you doing?
I'm sneezing. I'm cutting out. I have a very comfortable artist smock that I use quite a bit in my studio. And I thought that I would make myself another one, only in silk. So I have the pattern laid out, and I'm just about ready to cut. The idea, of course, is to make it nice and even. Like so.
Well, let's watch you thread your needle. Do you do much sewing?
I sew all of my clothing, and this is like from a wide range, from like denim to, to my flannel nightgowns, everything, the whole range of my clothing. I modify it or make it, outright.
And how long have you been doing that?
Oh, since I was very young. I was extraordinarily hard to please. So my mother told me that I would have to learn how to sew for myself, and it was really a very good thing. It's come in quite handy. My machine's been acting up a great deal lately. We had a flood on Tinker Street, and the machine was just covered with water. And it's never really sewn quite right after that.
Do you turn that inside out to sew it?
Yes. But I just, the thread broke again.
Oh.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Ready?
Mm-hmm. So it's done?
Yes. I thought I'd try it on now. Have a ribbon. Except for a tiny bit of trimming. for the next sequence, do you want a mirror? I'm going to be working with a mirror, this one or that one.
Well, let's just finish what we're doing here and watch you put it on, and then we'll worry about that when we come to it.
Perfect fit.
Well, great. Now you have a new smock, huh?
Really?
Let's see from this side.
Well, let me get my belt on.
Oh, I see. You have a belt for it. Ah, that's what the ribbon is for.
Now I can wear this right through the summer, you know, into the spring, through the summer. And probably the way that I'll finish it will be to lace.
I see.
So lace along the seam.
Almost looks like a judo or jujitsu, karate. What do they call those? There's a name for that. Well, I can't think of what it is.
The key, or the
Right, yes, it has a
Isn't it
seam.
perfect?
It is, it's wonderful.
No seams, it moves with the body.
Yeah.
You might want to trim that one bunch of threads for me.
All right.
Now, you had some other things that you wanted to show me in
I
terms
wanted to
of...
show you the crocheting I'm doing. I'm working on a vest. It's going to have like a series of different squares.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'd show you how it looks.
Do you have a picture of it in there, or?
What's that?
Oh, I see.
I
You're
was
going to
looking
show
for my
your
tool.
crocheting tool.
Now, I love crocheting. You can take one thread and create any type of garment that you need. It's like being a painter and a sculptor.
Is crocheting like knitting? I never quite understood the difference.
I don't know how to knit.
Uh,
My grandmother was a great artist when it came to crocheting. My mother crochets very beautifully. All of the women in my family crocheted. Aunt Frances. I think Aunt Geezy did.
The way I understand it, they're very similar in that you tie a continuous series of knots through loops. Not having knitted or crocheted, I don't know.
Well, that's a principle. I'll show you if you want to get some close-ups.
mm-hmm.
How it goes.
Now, how long did it take you to do that? Let me just see if I can, maybe I can actually get a, oops, excuse me, a long way to go on this one. Let me pull it right in here. Let's see if I can take a better look at it. How long did it take you to do this one?
Maybe a few hours. I love crocheting. I find it very relaxing.
Mm-hmm. I think I have one of your pot holders, as a matter of fact.
Yes, I did a couple for my special friend this year for the holidays.
So you're going to tie a bunch of these together and make them into a vest, is that it?
Yes, I'm going to crochet them together and make. I thought that to make it interesting, I would do them like various sizes, like perhaps two small ones and a large one. Kind of alternate a pattern. This is
So what you're doing right now is crocheting,
this
right?
is called double crochet, and what you do is you wrap. You have one basic thread here, and you wrap it, and then you hook it into the next one. Bring it through, and then you wrap it once, and then you hook it over again, and then you wrap it a second time. And now to turn the corner, we'll do 2 chain stitches, and then we'll resume our double crochet stitch. You know, I still have paint on me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not anything that'll get onto the yarn, though.
Looks good.
It's dry already. Just noticed that. It's quite mathematical. Like the little flower, if you notice, it's a circle that turns into a square.
Mm-hmm.
One day I very casually put 9 petals on it, and there was no way that it could only go into a square with exactly 8 petals. So you have to really count in terms of what you're doing. One stitch could throw a pattern off. It's very precise. And that way I find it relaxing, just because you have to concentrate.
that song have a name?
That was called Fly Away.
Mm-hmm. And what was it you played before that?
Pack Up Your Sorrows.
Uh-huh. What is this you're playing?
This is going to be the instrument.
Yeah.
Okay, this is called an auto harp.
And how'd you learn to play it?
I taught myself how to play it.
Really?
Yes.
You don't have any musical background, training or anything of that nature?
Well, I destroyed a piano once, and I destroyed a guitar once. And
What do you mean?
just that. I was taking piano lessons as a child, and I found that I really couldn't manage with needing two hands. So, like, I tore up a whole bunch of keys, like, all over the living room. And later I had a guitar, and I couldn't play that. And in a way, the harp is really like both. It's like having the keys of the piano and, yeah, the strings, you know, of the guitar all put together. So it's the perfect instrument. And the thing about the harp is it was patented on December the 10th. And my birthday is December the 10th. So I feel that we are very much made for each other. And this next one is called Yellow Bird. Very, very lilting kind of song. Do you play an instrument?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I
What do you play?
guitar.
Henry plays guitar.
What are those pictures that are up on your mirror that I'm looking at right now?
The first one here is of Easter Island.
Mhm.
Statues on Easter Island. They're called the navel of the world, and they supposedly belong to the first order of human beings that existed on Lemuria. And they are within the Hopi tradition. The one over here is a Hopi Indian,
So on the far left?
short rainbow. And the one next to him is like a Mayan painting of a god in some 12,000-year-old cave that looks identical to me. And the one over here is a Mayan also. She's a moon goddess, and she has only one long left arm.
The one with the rabbit?
Yes.
Yeah.
One long left arm and no legs, and she rules medicine and weaving and all the arts.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Henry and I, and that's my grandmother, and that's my mother.
Can you play a couple of more songs?
Okay.